on that field today, ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And go to the house! And go to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's hunt now! Let's hunt now! Let's go! Let's hunt! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yap, 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 yap. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin straps.
It's embarrassing.
Yap, 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 yap.
Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them.
He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man.
You already make the big money.
He's a man.
Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there.
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house! It's a wrap. Game over. Yes, yes, yes. We back with the HBCU Stroll. Yeah, it is game time. And you're here with your host, Johnnie Cole. I want to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day and have an opportunity to be off and spend it with your family. And, you know, one thing about me coming from a large family is everything. Just want to just reach out and just start from the beginning that, you know, this show is about HBCU struggle. Things are happening in HBCU football from the past to the present. And just give me an opportunity to share some things and make people aware, you know, of some of the disparities of Black college coaches, men and women, about the sport that we dominate, not only just football, basketball as well as track. And the things that, you know, I want to get out there is to make sure that people are aware and give those people some information, and maybe we can try to come up with a solution that we can even the playing field. So today, my guest is one of the second winningest football coach in college football. Friend, he actually had an opportunity to coach my brothers at Central State, where they won a couple of national championships there. A couple of guys also, he coached James Woody. He went on from Central State to Florida A&M, where he won several MEAC championship games down there, and championships, and he's became the second all-time winningest coach in HBCU football. He also is a former NFL player, where he won Rookie of the Year. He's also a Super Bowl champion winner. Yeah, I know it. I know it sounds like our head coach over at Jackson State, Deion Sanders, who's doing a fabulous job over there. But, you know, one of the things that we always say when we from HBCU schools is we know more about our conference. You know, yeah, we all excited about Deion Sanders, but that blueprint has been played over and over and over again in Black college football. That we have gotten guys from the pros that have came in and coached. And it's unfortunate to say most have failed. Only few have done a great job. And Deion Sanders, of course, now he's on that list, as well as Billy Joe, and then we have Rod Broadway. Also, we had LC Cole that came in from other schools of PWI and being able to come into the SWAC and win, or the MEAC. We also have Pete Richardson, came from University of Dayton and done a great job over at Southern University. So we've had coaches that actually have came from PWIs in the 40 some years that I've been affiliated with the SWAC conference, and they've done a great and fabulous job to bring our football into some areas. One of the statistics, and I always talk numbers because I understand, numbers is real. And the thing that why I come at through a college agenda, being in the HBCU realm, is that in college, in all the colleges, we know that 90% of the athletic directors are white, and that makes it tough. This is not about race; it's about awareness, because the awareness is that people tend to choose people, feel comfortable with people that look like themselves, and that's one of the things that we gotta try to overcome, and it's gonna take more than just us. It's gonna take them to be aware of what's happening, because the reason why I don't talk NFL, because the NFL is privately owned. You got one or a group of individuals that own it, and they have more control. They also don't receive federal money from the nation, so some of the rules they can set for themselves. But when you go to college, that's different. You got a bunch of state schools. You got over 1,000 colleges that play college football or play college athletics, and Black folks, we pay state taxes as well. So, and let's give a scenario. If there's 32 NFL football programs, and if there were 32 Black head coaches, and you take those 32 Black head coaches and put them in college, that's only 32 positions. When right now we only hold 10. That still wouldn't even be a quarter of all of PWI college football. So you still would have a big disparity between Black coaches and coaches of color. But when your constituents, the players, are at least 70 to 75% of the players on those teams are Black. I hate to say it, but it's almost like being in the cotton field. When you look over through the cotton field back in the day, you see all people of color or Black folks picking the cotton. And then you see the people, white folks, that are overseers, and then when you look at the house on the plantation, of course, the owner or the master, what they would say, is white. And I know I'm talking real, and some folks, and this is one of the problems I think in America, that we just don't want to acknowledge that, yeah, it was over 400 years ago. But can you just think about, in 400 years, all the whoopings and all the mischievous things and all the backhand and all the punishment that our ancestors received? Then you got to start talking about DNA. And stress is a killer today, And then when you look at, you got over 85% of the CEOs in this country are white. You got mostly the white folks are owners of all the property in America. So, you look at all that stuff, and it's that way because, some people don't want to look. It's like running a race. And if you got, a Black guy and a white guy running a race, and the race started 400 years ago, and as soon as the gun went off, you as the black guy, you were held down. The white guy starts off, he's in the corner, he's down the back stretch, he's down coming down the back curve, and then finally slavery was over. But then when you did release us, we couldn't read, we couldn't write, we couldn't speak, we had no money, we had no we had no land, we had no sense of direction. So now we start off in life, and so that's why we behind today. That's all. And that's all with black folks. We don't want nothing given to us. We don't want nothing handed to us. We want to be able to earn it, and I think we earned it. And if you ask me, should we get reparation? Yes, we should be getting reparation. Just like the Indians got some land and they get so many checks, and Jews get checks, and yeah, we need some checks. I believe that this country, not believe it, but it's facts, that this country was built off of free labor. And until this country realize that and admit to that, that's all we want. That's all we want. We are hard working people. We are hard working people. And it really falls in every category of life, is that when you look at different things, and not saying that white folks has not earned some of the things that they have, is that you had that jump, you had that start, and you had some things that were handed to you and passed down to you. And we didn't have that. We didn't have that. We had to work for everything we have. And so that's where we are now in college football, when, again, I say 90% of the athletic directors, 80%, over 80% of all the head coaches, and I'm speaking of all the sports, are white. And then I remember when I was at Tennessee State, and the state of Tennessee put a mandate on Tennessee State about giving them money, that the college, which is a HBCU school, had to put a mandate on them about trying to change the enrollment. Yeah. So yes, it had a little technical difficult, but at Tennessee State, they wanted them to be more diverse. So if the state got involved with Tennessee State about giving them being more diverse, which I understand, the PWIs are not diverse at all. I'm not sure that the state has mandated any of them, and I can find that information out about being more diverse. But I just would like to take it a step further. If they could get involved then they should be able to get involved more, being more diverse on the coaching realm, and not just the head football coaches, assistant football coaches, secretaries, trainers, through the whole program, that they can hire more blacks. Where are more blacks at that's qualified? Don't ever get me wrong. I don't want nobody to think that I want somebody to give us something. No, no. And I want those people to be qualified. But even when you say qualification, that's a thin line, because some of them are getting jobs through, and last week I had some great guys on, they're getting jobs through relationships. Not necessarily they prepared to take over these jobs, not necessarily they're qualified, it's through relationships. And that's one of the things I guess I can carry over to our people, because we got to get our house clean too. We got to learn how to love each other and trust each other, and not putting so much of so much that we got to be ready to be in these spots. Sometimes, it's good to teach somebody what you want them to do, and that some jobs we can learn on the job. That's not terrible, but I understand. But that also, when they do give us those jobs, they put so much pressure on and so much stress, because statistics shows that when a person of color become a head coach, he get less time to turn that program around. So, that's a double standard. One, you really don't want to give us the job. And then when you finally give us the job, then you put all the press and the stress on us about being prepared, about not letting us get in and having a chance to get it turned around. But, again, it always go back, you got to take care of your home. Being at a black college, you always get that conflict between a president and a winning coach, because now we're fighting over control. Now, I said a president of the university and a winning coach, because through my experiences, most of the time when a coach don't win, he get to stay there and follow through his contract. One example was Doug Williams. I don't care what was going on between him and that president at Grambling. It should have been a better way of doing that. No way that we should have let our hero, Doug Williams, who was the first black quarterback to win MVP in the Super Bowl, get ousted during the season on his 25th year of winning the Super Bowl. Instead, that should have been a year that Grambling should have been there putting together some type of banquet, fundraiser to salute Doug Williams. And then after the season, if the president and Doug didn't get along on some topics, then it should have happened. So sometimes it ain't what we do on black colleges, it's how we do it. And, we don't have that many opportunities. So when something go wrong as big as that, then they say, here we go again. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, and some of my guests brought up, is about honoring and respecting our universities. Again, we don't like to salute our champions. My guest, I think he's having problems getting on, is William Billy Joe that I'm bringing on. He's the second winningest coach in HBCU football, and we don't honor him. I think when we had an inauguration bowl, Billy Joe, Comedy, L.C. Cole, Rob Broadway, Pete Richardson, W.C. Gordon, Willie Jeffries. These are all championship coaches that should be brought down to that game and honored at halftime every year. They should be a part. We should be put together some type of event. So put them on the stage during the time of that game every year, just to hear them talk about, their experiences, their struggles, their high points, their low points. And so we won't make those mistakes. I don't have a problem with them. We're cheering for Deion. Yeah, Deion is doing some great things for us. He's bringing alive Jackson State and Deion Sanders. But these gentlemen I just talked about, they're going to be talking about black college football as a whole. They've been there, done that. So it gives us an opportunity to hear those struggles, to hear and the crazy part about it is, here's some more information, that the SWAC and the MEAC has more Hall of Famers in the Hall of Fame, the NFL Hall of Fame, than 90% of the PWI conferences. So here's my question. So did those guys get put in the Hall of Fame or show up at the NFL and just learn football? Or did they learn football from the respective schools? I think they learned football from the respective schools who was coached by men of color. Nobody says that, you know what I mean? But what we call our league, we let them call our league the Chitlin League, which is a disgrace. It's a put down. And that's about honoring and respecting ourselves. Even on the academic realm, back in the day that that we don't respect our academic side. Like all the lawyers in the state of Texas from Texas Southern's law school. North Carolina Central has a great law school. Howard has a great medical school. Prairie View has a super nursing school and engineering school, and so on and so on. You know, and we don't honor that. You know what I mean? We let them say, "Oh, black colleges are party schools." Well, guys, come on. I've been to black college. Several of us been to black. We used to scrape around and look around the floor for dimes and nickels because most of us, our parents couldn't supply us with extra money. Now let's turn the table and look at PWIs. Those kids got automobiles, they got money, so they can buy kegs. When we was buying 6-packs of beer, they was buying kegs. When we were having fun and all of us piling up in one car, they had vans. So not to say they party just as much as they party more than us. Let's say that. It's never been a magazine to come out to have a black college to say it's the most party in school. So when you look at the magazine and then Google it, what is the most party in school? Now, when it comes to homecomings, you're talking about Howard University, big time homecoming. You talk about Bethune-Cookman, big time homecoming. You talking about Prairie View A&M. I've been up there where they put the Winnebagoes in a circle and they got the big time coming to the big time football games. One of the things that I've always said that, and what we don't do, again, I'm talking about our house. See, the SWAC and the MEAC should have been come together, not as a super conference, but together as a TV package. And that TV package would have put all of our classic games together. So each week, you'll have the Orange City Blossom Classic. You have the Labor Day Classic. You have the Southern Heritage Classic. You have the Eagle Classic between North Carolina Central and North Carolina A&T. You have all those classics, the Bayou Classic, the Magic City Classic, the Circle City Classic. I've played in all those classics where you got 40, 50, 60,000 people partying, having a great time, cooking barbecue. Like I said to have the chitlins over there, the red beans and rice, the turkey legs. You have all kind of families come down to these games. And then each week, and that's all they do, on TV, they'll call all the people to show up at this one spot, and ESPN on game day, they'll show all those people. We could do the same thing, but we don't love each other. We don't want to come together, because now it's who gonna get the spotlight. Man, we gotta leave the spotlight alone. The people gonna get the spotlight is always the people in the head. And y'all understand when the head do well, the body does well. But our problem is because we got so far and so smaller opportunities, we crawl. I know the crab in the bucket. Man, that's so true about us. And we got to quit doing that. We got to learn to trust each other. And we can't let a few bad apples spoil the whole show, just like police officers. I give police officers all the support in the world. But you got those few bad apples that just tear the whole system down. And we just don't have enough, And so if we could have got that and got us a big contract like the SEC, Notre Dame, they set the rule. Be economists. If it works for them, it should work for us. And if it works for us, look, $50 million, $60 million TV package. Done this back in the day, man, we could have split that money among the conferences. Some of the schools that's struggling, some of our small schools in the SWAC and the MEAC, we should have been. We could have got it done. So I'm gonna stop right there. I've been yapping. I've been waiting on this guy. I can't say enough. I want to say first, thank you, Coach, for your time and opportunity. I know it's Memorial Day. You know, we eating a lot of ribs. A lot of hogs been cooked.
Yes,
You
we
know,
did.
but I'm just so happy. I had opportunity to face him. I had opportunity. He coached my brothers. I can't say enough about him. And I've been talking, Coach William, Billy Joe, man, legend, icon. How you been doing?
I've been doing just fine, Coach. Great to be with you. And I think you can hear me clearly. Is that true?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
great to be on your show.
I just, I got two feelings. My feeling of happiness that I get opportunity to honor you. You should be honored from all the accomplishments you have done in your life, and I don't ever want us to forget you because you have set a high bar. But there's some sadness in me that we don't, as a race, forget about people like you. We don't honor you. Well, I don't know. I gave honor to Southern University. They gave Pete Richardson a game behind them. The great coaches that in your tree, they don't know, like Rick Comagene and James Woody and Coach Lemon and Coach Jack. All these guys came up underneath your tree. So I just want to say that piece that you should be getting a ticket or something to the inauguration game every year.
Well, I've been a head football coach at HBCUs for 35 years. So I've been in the game a long time, but I did not get in the game for accolades and awards. I got in the game to help young men grow, develop, and mature and become good citizens. That's first and foremost with me. And of course, winning will come along with those attributes. As long as you're working hard for those young men, they'll get the job done for you. So basically, if the awards are out there, hey, I'm receptive. There's no question about that. But I didn't enter the game for awards and honors, but I am in 10 Hall of Fames, and I've had my share of awards and rewards. So I'm very happy with my state in life and my state in my football life. Johnny?
Coach Joe, he dropped off for a second. He had some technical difficulties. So do me a favor, stay right there. We'll get him back on in just a second. But it is really a pleasure to have you on and to have you with such an humble spirit. Like you said, you didn't get in the business for accolades. You got in the business to affect the lives of young people, and you have definitely done that for decades.
Right. Yes. Well, I certainly appreciate hearing those kind words. And just to continue talking, you guys can interrupt me whenever you want. But I'd like to first talk about the NIL, and the portals. I'm just happy now that football players are able to be paid now, because major college football and major college basketball, it's really a business. It's really a professional sport. And the players really need to be paid. And the NIL will allow ball players to get paid. The coaches are getting paid big bucks, 10, 11, 12 million dollars a year, and they can move about the way they want. Their jobs are very portable. Now, of course, the football players' jobs are very portable, and they are able to get paid now. And I think that's a good thing. That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Also, I also believe that HBCUs should discontinue playing those blood games, where HBCU football games against major college football teams should not take place. For example, when you go into those games, of course, 99% of the time you're going to lose, and you're going to lose big, and your players are going to suffer greatly. Now, I think HBCUs should play major colleges in track and field, tennis, golf, non-contact sports. In other words, if you were going to play someone and you knew you were going to lose, who would you rather compete against? Would you rather compete against Tiger Woods or Mike Tyson? you know you're going to lose now. Who do you want to lose to?
Yeah. Well, Coach,
I'd rather lose to Tiger Woods, because I'll go home with all my limbs intact.
Well, Coach, you know, one reason, and I guess I hear your comment about the reason why they play these big schools is the financial part. And, you know, one knows, if you know about higher education, that if you see a president on campus all the time, then they ain't out raising money. If you see an athletic director down there telling the head coach who to play, he ain't out raising money. And
right.
One of the
things that is so true. And my answer to that is, if you cannot run your football program without playing those blood games, then drop down to Division II. If you don't have enough money to finance your football program or your athletic department, drop down to Division III or NAIA. And if you still don't have enough money to run your program, drop football athletics altogether, as opposed to putting your football players in a meat grinder.
Right.
Now, a good template for what I'm talking about are the Ivy Leagues. The Ivy League schools will compete against Ohio State and Michigan and Alabama in track and field, in basketball, in swimming, tennis, golf, but they will never play those major colleges in football because they know the consequences. Not too long ago, I believe it was Southern played Georgia, and one of Southern's football players became
he had a concussion.
A paraplegic, I believe. Now, who's gonna take care of that young man for the rest of his life? Brush his teeth, put his clothes on, washing. So we would not want a high school team playing a peewee team. But now a high school tennis player can play someone much younger. He's going to get beat, but he's not going to get hurt. So that's my idea. I don't believe that those blood games should take place in football, but your non-contact sports and your Olympic sports, of course, play major colleges there. Yeah. But use the Ivy Leagues as a template.
Yeah,
and I think we could do that without getting players injured and psychologically demoralized and get defeated big time and embarrassed on national television.
Yeah, let's change the gear for a minute, Coach. I just, you've been around a long time. You've played on every level, and change the gear as far as Black college coaches. The lack of opportunities for us. Both, of course, we swim over the 20 jobs we have, including the MEAC and the SIAC and the CIAA. If I had a young guy, what would you tell him when 90% of the athletic directors in all the sports are white? And actually, there are more white coaches in our non-revenue sports in Black colleges than there are Black. How can we overcome that?
Well, yes, it's going to eventually happen because people of goodwill, and most people are of goodwill. They want justice. They want fairness. So eventually, it's going to happen. But how do we make it happen as quickly as possible? We just need to continue protesting, marching, knocking on that door. But ultimately, I think we need to convince, especially the black football players and black basketball players and the white football players and basketball players who believe in fairness, to stand up and represent us, or, hey, you're not going to play. We're going to boycott some games.
Yeah,
but eventually it's going to happen. It took 246 years before slavery ended. You know, we black folks dealt with slavery for 246 years. But
right.
we had abolitionists, you had Quakers protesting, and eventually it happened. It's going to eventually happen here as well. We can all remember not too long ago, pre-integration, there were no black football players at University of Miami, University of Alabama, Mississippi, and quite frankly, there weren't that many in the North either. You know, schools like Michigan and Ohio State and Syracuse, they'd have one or two or three, but they weren't completely inundated with black kids.
Right.
So after integration, now, of course, when you see the University of Alabama play the University of Mississippi, it looks like it's like two HBCU teams playing. You need a microscope to find a white kid. So,
well, that's the thing, Coach. That's the thing that upsets me is when I'm watching football. I was watching football this weekend with the USFL, and I see all the players, of course, is of color. But then as soon as they show it on the sideline, you see all the white coaches giving all the instructions. And one or two of the black coaches have a headset on, but you don't see them talking. You know, and that just upsets me. And I, like I said earlier before you came on, you know, when you were a coach back in the 80s, all the NAIA championships you won, and Florida A&M, and you, W.C. Gordon, Willie Jeffries, Pete Richardson, all you guys coached all these Hall of Famers and pro football players. And myself is, well, if we can coach all these Hall of Famers, these guys just didn't get to the pros and all of a sudden became good football players. They were good. They were coached by good guys like you. And I just can't understand why
that's right.
We can't jump from a black school to a PWI school because of what? The field is still 100 yards long and 53 yards wide, and win is a win.
Well, the problem is racism and bigotry still permeates every fabric and fiber of American society. It's still there. It's everywhere. It's not what you see.
All right, Coach got a little stuck there, you know, because we're talking from two different places. But you know, Coach is saying that racism is still alive in America, which we all know, and we hate to talk about that. You know, of course, you know, you had a mass killing up in Buffalo. That was a sad thing, and it's a black eye on America. You know, and I you know, you still got to believe in America. Still got to believe the American system, and how the American system works is that each and every one of us has a vote. Don't think that slavery was ended because black folks revolutionized and changed. America and slavery was changed because of all races. And like you said earlier, there were abolitionists who helped change. And that's what I'm looking for, the awareness of what's going on now. You know, we have a lot of superstars up there. You know, a lot of guys guys of color who have made it big and got a whole bunch of money. And we get that. But I don't hear them ever talking about the disparity between black coaches and white coaches, because everybody is afraid to lose their positions. It's like Roland Martin said, when you are a black journalist or somebody got the mic by me, you got to have tough skin. You got to be able, you can't be scared. And I'll tell you, Johnnie Cole is not scared. I wasn't raised that way. I got 8 brothers. I'm sorry. I got 8 brothers that I know that, when the ground is hard and cold and the rain is raining on my head, I have somewhere to go, but this got to get out there.
I'm back, Johnny.
Awareness. And I'm glad Coach back. Just finishing up, Coach. I was just kind of adding on to where you was talking about racism is still there. You could start from there because
Yes.
you did it. You was raised in the 60s. Well, you was a young man in the 60s. So you know way more than I do.
Well, I don't know about that. You're a very smart man. I'm listening to you now, and I'm impressed. But yes, as I was saying, racism permeates every fabric and fiber of our American society. And of course, unequivocally, it is in major college football, professional football, high school football. It's everywhere. So we have to continue to deal with it because it is getting better. And we all know that football in the 1970s was when major college football programs and basketball programs began recruiting Black youngsters. Now, integration in major college football wasn't good for everybody. It was great for Black kids. It was not great for white kids because now white kids have a difficult time getting on the field. Now white kids have to play, for the most part, on the FCS level or Division II or Division III or NAIA.
Right.
Because when you see Alabama play Mississippi, 95% of the kids on the field are Black.
Right.
Now 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 100% of the kids on the field between Alabama and Mississippi were white. 100%.
Right.
And it's almost 100% Black now. So where are those white kids going? Those white kids are playing on a lower level.
Well, here's my problem.
So integration was great for the Black kids, but it wasn't good for white kids.
Right.
Integration was great for integration wasn't good for Black coaches, because on the high school level, when the schools were integrated, the Black coach lost his job, or he became the assistant coach at the white school, because they either shut the Black school down or made the Black school an elementary school. That happened all across the country.
You preaching, Coach. You preaching.
Right. So things are getting better, but integration wasn't great for everybody. It was great for the Black football players, but it wasn't great for the white football players. It was not great for HBCUs, because now it is extremely difficult for HBCUs to get 5-star blue chip athletes now. For instance, I was at FAMU, and let's say when Jake Gaither was there back in the 40s and the 50s, you take all the Black kids off of Florida State, Miami, and the University of Florida and put all those Black kids at FAMU. That's what you had back there in the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yeah, they call it the blood, sweat, and tears.
Right. You don't have that now, because those Black kids can now go to Miami, Florida State, and the University of Florida. So now HBCUs are not getting those blue chip 5-star athletes anymore. But I'm happy now that we do have this portal, because we will begin getting some of those 5-star black kids back that we used to get during pre-integration.
Yeah, but one thing we got to do, Coach, just to piggyback off that. You was talking about the NILs when you open up. Our black colleges, that's why I thought it's so important that we put them together and get a big TV package contract that's paid by sponsorship. Then we will have more NILs that our coaches can reach to. If you got Coke and Cadillac and some of these made Walmart, Southwest Airlines paying money to put these games on television, they also will do some NILs as well. And our coaches could go out and recruit those 5-star players to say, come to these black schools. We only go, the campus is made for you, but we also be able to pay you some money.
Right. We'll be able to get some of those 5-star kids because we'll be able to pay them, and they should be paid. But of course, no HBCU is a major college football program or a major college basketball program. So the competition is null and void with major colleges, but we can still pay some of the kids to play at HBCUs. We just will not be competitive with major colleges because they're dealing with billions of dollars, and we can't be competitive with that. But we will. The flavor and the level of black college football will be improved because of this evolution of portals and NIL. Now, we also know that the evolution of football is continuous. There was a time when the Ivy Leagues, at the turn of the century, they were the best football programs in the country, the Ivy Leagues.
Wow.
And around 1900, when Teddy Roosevelt was the president, he called in the bigwigs of the Ivy League football programs to the White House and say, look, you got to stop doing what you're doing. You're paying guys, you're playing ringers, players who aren't even students at Yale and Harvard and some of those Ivy League schools, because they were the best. They had the best programs. Okay, to make a long story short, of course, the Ivy Leagues went academic, and they are not recruiting the best athletes in the country now because of the evolution of their game. The same thing with Catholic schools. When I attended Villanova University, a Catholic school, and we played major college football. We played in the Sun Bowl my junior year and the Liberty Bowl my senior year. I was most valuable player in the Sun Bowl and most valuable back in the Liberty Bowl. Let me just throw that in there. And but we were playing major college football at that time, but the Catholic leagues don't play major college football now, other than maybe Boston College, Tulane, and Notre Dame. But when I was there, you had Xavier playing major college football, Dayton, Detroit, Marquette, all those Catholic schools played major college football. But they don't now because they have evolved. Same thing with the military schools. During the World War II, Army and Navy played major college football. Glenn Davis and Doc Blanchard. Those guys were All-American and Heisman Trophy winners. But the game has evolved. And that's what's going to happen with black college football, HBCUs. We're going to evolve, and I think we're going to evolve and get better with the portals and NIL. But, you know, the Ivies evolve, military schools evolve, and Catholic schools evolve.
Yeah. Coach, let me real quick. I know we got about 10 minutes left on the show, man. I gotta get you back. We had a little tough time getting you on early, and we had to get you back. But real quick, we still got about 10 minutes.
Okay.
When I look at the MEAC and see now that they have moved 4 or 5 of their teams to the Colonial, I look at that as busing. And you just said it earlier that busing wasn't really good for us because they closed some of our schools down. And I think that the MEAC is falling for the banana in the tailpipe. I think because we got something special about black college football, the patronage around it, the bands, the family oriented league, things that we do, step shows and stuff that's around our game. And with them leaving the MEAC, and now the MEAC is really falling off, I think we've fallen for the same thing we fell for when we wanted equality and wanted to go to their schools and end up doing that instead of fighting for the money.
Right.
The money will make us equal. And we need, I know Martin Luther King was a great abolitionist and nonviolence, and we done that, and we fought that fight. It's time to fight for the money.
Right. Well, that's why I said we need to follow the Ivy League's template. Follow that template where the Ivy Leagues they're just playing each other. They're not trying to play major college football opponents. They have their own little league, and they don't want to be major college. They don't want to be Division III or NAIA. They have their own league, and it would be great for us to have our own league because attendance is great at HBCUs, especially HBCU classics and bowl games.
Yes,
attendance is great, and the TV money is there. So we don't need to disintegrate. We don't need to go elsewhere. Stay HBCU, just like the Ivy Leagues are staying Ivy League.
Yeah,
they're not going to the Atlantic Conference. They're not going to another league. They are staying together in their own league, their own conference, and HBCUs need to stay in their own conference, their own league, because we have something great going on, and it's evolving to be something even bigger now with NIL and portals being instituted.
Yeah, I believe in you wholeheartedly, and I've been saying it from day one. Even when I got into this coaching profession, I never wanted to desire. I didn't have a full desire to coach up on the PWI league or in the pros. I wanted to take a black college team and be first class, be a great organization, and win football games. And it seems that when I look over black college and great coaches like yourself, and of course we talked about your demise at Florida A&M, and I know about Pete Richardson and Coach Broadway stepped down. I know about Coach L.C. Cole and Comegy, that the ending always don't have to be a bad ending. Sometimes you're a great coach and you win, and that's what you're there for. We got to stop trying to be like them and love ourselves. And I think that's one of the problems. You said it earlier. We need to have our own league.
Right. Now we can,
each other.
Yeah, we have our own league, and we can go out and play other teams on our level, because the Ivy Leagues, they've played HBCUs before, but we're on the same level. Right. And they don't play anyone below their level. They don't play anyone above their level, but they'll play anybody anywhere on their level. But they are going to hold fast with their league, and we need to hold fast with our league.
Okay,
even though we'll play other people on our level and outside of our league.
Well, Coach, we coming to the end. And I want you to go ahead and give me your last remarks, but I got to get you back on.
Sure.
Your last
Certainly.
remark. You got 2 minutes, Coach. What's your last remarks?
Well, my last remarks will be that before integration, HBCU football was phenomenal. In 1938, Coach Hurt of Morgan State University put together an all-black team that played the NFL champion Chicago Bears. They played the Chicago Bears, an all-college black all-star team.
Wow.
Now they got beat, but just the fact that they were good enough to play the NFL champions. Can you imagine an all-black college football team playing the Los Angeles Rams?
Wow.
That can't happen now because we don't get the quality 5-star blue chip athletes like we did back in 1938. We got the best, we got the pick of the litter and the cream of the crop. That's why we could play the Chicago Bears in 1938 in an exhibition game. We can't do that now. The score would probably be 300-0. But
well, Coach, man, I appreciate that information. I mean, man, that's great, and that just tells you how we continue to forget our past, and that makes me sick about black colleges. When you go,
because all those great kids that are at white colleges now, they would be at black colleges.
Yes.
All those great kids, they were at black colleges, and so black college football was phenomenal football. It was on a high level.
All right, well, we're going to leave on that note, Coach. I appreciate you, man. I've always admired you, your work. I've never forgot your body of work. And as long as I got this station, we're going to get you in, and we're going to make sure that these people honor and respect you just like your other colleagues, to make sure we see you guys on the sidelines. We need to see you on the sidelines. We need to hear you. Thank you, Coach.
Well, thank you for having me, Coach. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me. And please say hello to all your brothers, especially Lyle Cole, your brother who played football for me at Central State. And he was a phenomenal football player and a great human being.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes. Have a good day.
All right. We just ended the great show again. We had some difficulties. I'm in Fort Worth. Our producer station is in Houston, and Coach is in Birmingham. So we'll continue to work out the kinks, but the information is priceless. Continue to tune in to me. We're going to get it all fixed up and go to work again. Thanks for JM&E, ROKU TV, YouTube. Thank you. Same place, same channel. Love, peace, and joy.
Hi, how can I help you?
I need to speak with Roman Perry.
Do you have a scheduled appointment with him?
No, but it is important.
Grace, when you see Sky, let her know I'm going home for the rest of the day.
So you're Roman Perry?
Do I know you?
No, but I need your help.
Book him for another day this week. I got some
about your brother.
Avarice is messing up my plan. And I'm not going to tolerate this anymore.
I literally told you enough information for you to stop your damn brother. He stole from us.
Like I said, your job is simple. Make sure Roman is out of that office within the next 48 hours.
I'll clean up your fucking shit like I always do.
It isn't your game anymore. It's mine.
Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Monday. It's Memorial Day, May 30th, 2022. Number 1. The funeral for 86-year-old Mrs. Ruth Whitfield, the oldest of the 10 people killed in the Buffalo, New York grocery store attack, was held Saturday. Mrs. Whitfield was a grandmother and mother of 4, including the former fire commissioner of Buffalo, New York. She went to the supermarket after visiting her husband of 68 years in a nursing home. Find out more about all of those who were killed and wounded in the Buffalo, New York massacre in today's newsletter. Number 2, summer vacation was just days away for a classroom full of 3rd and 4th grade students under the guidance of their teachers, Mrs. Irma Garcia and Mrs. Eva Morales. All hopes and dreams of 19 students, not only summer adventures, were crushed Tuesday morning at the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. You can read more about those students and their teachers in today's newsletter as well. Number 3. 8 of the 10 largest cities in the United States lost population during the first year of the pandemic, with New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago leading the way. Between July of 2020 and July of 2021, New York lost more than 305,000 people, while Chicago and Los Angeles each lost by 45,000 residents and 40,000 people, respectively. San Francisco suffered the largest rate of decline, losing almost 55,000 residents, or 6.3% of its 2020 population, the highest percentage of any U.S. city. Number 4. As we mentioned, Saturday marked the last funeral for the victims of the racist attack on Black people at a Buffalo supermarket, with a service that became a call to action and an emotional plea to end the hate and violence that has racked this nation. The funeral for 86-year-old Mrs. Ruth Whitfield included a speech by Vice President Kamala Harris, who attended the service at Mount Olive Baptist Church in Buffalo, New York. She addressed mourners at the insistence of Reverend Al Sharpton and said, "This is a moment in time for all good people to stand up to the injustice." Number 5. Airline travelers are not only facing sticker shock this Memorial Day weekend, the kickoff to the summer travel season, they're also dealing with a pileup of flight cancellations. Delta Airlines suffered the most among U.S. airlines this holiday weekend, with more than 250 flights, or 9% of its operations, eliminated on Saturday. Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta, where Delta is based and has its largest hub, experienced heavy travel delays. Saturday, 5% of the flights were canceled, while 16% were delayed. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Allow people the space to be who they are. Woo, we need a lot of room here, boys. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.